Welcome to PacWest Magazine, the radio show. The show about our exciting Pacific West Conference. The PacWest is made up of NCAA Division II universities from Arizona and Utah to California and Hawaii. It's the most beautiful and diverse athletic conference in the entire NCAA. This is Commissioner Bob Hogue, inviting you to join our outstanding coaches, student athletes, and administrators as we talk about the great excitement in the PacWest. Now here's Assistant Commissioner Tom Camillo, live from our studios in Santan, Arizona.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Tom Camillo, Joe Carrero, and we are live in the Santan Valley in the KQCK studios. And you have to forgive us if you're watching this live. We are getting attacked. We're getting dive bombed by flies.
I am not proud of that. I think our cleaning people that came in this morning must have left the door open. But I am heading out in a second to get a fly swatter.
I can't wait to see this electric.
I'm feeling itchy and everything.
This electric fly. And I know you have a phobia about flies.
I'd hate flies.
I said, so then I told one of the last guests on the previous show, looked like you can see little heads of Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You got so in there. So, but today on PacWest Radio, joining us today is going to be Brandon Davis. He's the Director of Sports Information at Dominican University of California. And Brandon, an outstanding up-and-comer in the SID field. He was named the Sports Information Director of the Year in the Pacific West Conference. And we're going to talk to Brandon, who's also a graduate of Dominican University. He also works in the PR/marketing department at Dominican University. I want to talk to him about his career, some of the things the college has planned, and also they're in a transition state. Actually, their athletic director, Terry Toomey, has left to take a position at UC Davis, and they'll be transitioning to a new athletic director, and Brandon's just done a terrific job, so Joe's going to get him all caught up. Don't forget, you can check us out on our website at thepacwest.com. That's thepacwest.com. And you can also sign up. The seasons are coming up quickly here. We'll have the fall schedules posted in the next week, all updated, the fall schedules and the basketball schedules. And also, with the addition of the new institutions, the new schools in the Pacific West Conference, the season's starting right here in late August, early September, and it's going to be a fun year in the Pacific West Conference, especially for fans and listeners out there. If you're interested to get all the news and releases directly to your inboxes, you can sign up. Just go to thepacwest.com on the right-hand side. You scroll down, and it's news directly to you, and you'll get all the press releases. You can sign up for specific sports or to receive everything, and you can manage it yourself and log in, log out, and it's a great tool. The information will be emailed, press releases, news articles, tweets, all those things will be sent to your inbox and then sent out to your personal mobile device. A lot of things that you can do. So, Joe's going to get Brandon on here shortly, but it's an exciting time of the year for the PacWest. Especially in the fall, that when the sports seasons start anew, and then we didn't have luck getting Brandon on.
No, I just got the machine several times.
Okay, we'll try a different number for Brandon.
All right.
But one of the things too is if you this year in the Pacific West Conference, the big thing is the 14 institutions, Joe.
Did you happen to notice the 14 institutions up there on the bottom?
And I do, and they're right there along the bottom. And you know what, Joe? You did a great job. You changed up the look of the show.
Thank you.
It's terrific.
Terrific job. I wanted to make sure it was branded correctly, really, with the logos and everything.
So we have, is that all 14 of them up there? Yes, it is, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, yep, they're all 14 up there. And that's great. It's going to be a great season in the Pacific West Conference. One of the things that we'll be announcing here during this month is the academic awards. And I'm going to let you try Brandon one more time on that number. The academic awards, the Pacific West Conference is a scholar athlete, a male and female scholar athlete of the year, and it actually starts with an academic list, and all the institutions list their top academic. It's based on a grade point average, and they try that same number again, Joe. The 415 number. It's all based on a grade point average, and the schools submit them. And there's probably in the neighborhood of over 700 athletes that make the academic honor roll for the conference. Also, each school can nominate two athletes for a specific sport, and there's a Scholar Athlete of the Year for each sport, and then from that list, there's a Scholar Athlete of the Year. So that'll be taking place here before the start of the fall campaign. Brandon, welcome to the program.
Hey, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Brandon, congratulations. You're named the SID of the Year in the Pacific West Conference. That's a terrific honor.
Thanks. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of good guys working in the conference, and it's nice to be recognized.
Have you had a chance to tell your family about that? Are they excited for you?
Yeah, of course. My mom sent it to everybody, I think. So.
It's one of the things that, and you can relate to this, I'm sure, that as a PR person in athletics, your job is to promote student athletes, programs, your institution, and it's almost at times uncomfortable for sports information directors to get awards because it's promoting themselves, and it's a little bit out of character of what we do.
Yeah, definitely. I just kind of feel like I'm doing my job, so I think I need to be doing it well, and it's what I expect myself to be doing. So I don't think I necessarily should be awarded for that, but it's nice still.
Well, at least you get to sign some autographs in the family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your role at Dominican. Now, you're a graduate of Dominican University, correct?
Correct. I graduated in 2006.
And you grew up in Oakland.
Right.
How did
Andrew, but I went to high school in Oakland. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you end up at Dominican University as a student?
It's kind of funny. My dad went to St. Mary's. I was looking at small private schools in the Bay Area, and Dominican happened to be running a lot of radio ads at the time. So I heard about it. I didn't pay much attention to it. I got some materials in the mail. Took a campus tour, and kind of like anybody who comes to campus, fell in love with the campus, and kind of got to talk to some of the professors during an open house, and just felt it was a really good fit for me, and ended up going here and really enjoying my 4 years here.
When you started your career there, well, as a student, as an undergraduate, Dominican was in the NAIA, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And then, so you were there during the transition to an NCAA school. What was that like?
Yeah, I started out in the department as a work study student, and as a team manager for men's basketball team when we won the 4 straight championships in the Cal Pac back then. And seeing the department change and evolve has been really fascinating. We went from coaches being coaches in something else in the department. For instance, our women's basketball coach was coach and SID, which meant SID stuff didn't happen a lot. And that's kind of how I got involved, being his assistant, and then taking over when he left. And obviously seeing things move to the NC2A and everything that goes along with being a member of the NC2A has been a lot of work, but it's been pretty rewarding too.
What was your degree in?
I was actually a digital art major. So for the past several years, I've also served as the senior graphic designer for the university.
And in your role in that, is that difficult to kind of balance the two? Because usually a role like that, you're probably on the university relations side, and then you go down to athletics and serve in that role. Yeah,
definitely. It made it hard to travel, obviously, needing to be in the office a lot, and trying to serve both parts of campus. I actually transitioned at the beginning of the month. I'm now full-time in athletics, though.
So your role is just being a sports information director, then? Is that what your title is now?
Yeah.
So when a lot of times in undergrads, when they get involved, there's really not there's not a lot of majors to be a sports information director. You kind of learn on the job. It sounds like you did a little bit like that, and then you kind of fall in love with the profession. It's fun and rewarding. Is that kind of what you found out as you went through your undergrad career?
Yeah, definitely. Everything I learned was pretty much on the job. I learned how to do stats from a senior at the time who was on the soccer team and worked in the department. I did a little photography, I did some writing, and all of that was based on kind of throwing me into the fire. And we tried to do that as much as possible. I oversee the work study students now, which is kind of funny, but we try and give them the same opportunities, give them some guidance. So I've got a lot of kids taking photos for us, kids who want to do the writing, and our YouTube channel and all kinds of stuff. So everybody likes to be involved in athletics, and there's a lot of opportunities. So trying to make those available are pretty fun.
When you have your background of your degree and then your experience sort of in the university relations side, when you look at the conference, I would say that you're one of the leaders in the conference in a lot of the technology and kind of taking advantage of some of between the social media and the digital type photography and video that's now available, more so than when I started in this profession 20-some years ago. There just wasn't that accessibility to do something like that. What are some of the things that you brought into this position, from your education background and your experience on that side of the house?
Yeah, it started out, even in the years I've been doing the job, it's changed quite a bit. We did printed media guides, and that's really how I started helping, was doing the printed media guides. Since my degree was the digital art background, I was able to help with the printed materials, and we won a few NAI awards for those. And, most schools don't even do printed media guides now, whether it's cost prohibitive or just the internet's taken off so much. I was able to help build out our website, DominicanAthletics.com. We didn't have anything at the time when I came on board. We had a few pages on the regular.edu site, so we didn't even get to post scores live, all that stuff. Nowadays you have live stats. We have live video where people can stream the video online and watch all that. So I think being able to kind of stay ahead of the curve and see what's happening and what people are doing has been something I've been able to bring to the job.
In the short time that you've been doing this field has changed. It changes dramatically year to year. What are some of the big changes that you've seen in your short term as the SID there?
I think just the accessibility to media. From an office standpoint, when I first started, we would have to fax everything, which isn't all that long ago, but it seems like forever. So we'd have to fax box scores or call people and transcribe them down. We'd have to call the newspaper, and now everything is just done via email. You're able to send it off. Guys are able to copy and paste the box score instead of sit there and type it in. So that's made it a lot easier. Everything is up to date. People want to know things immediately, whether it's through Facebook or Twitter. We're pretty big on the Twitter account, and we post live scores. We post what's happening around campus and stories that have happened. So I think just getting the word out as quickly as possible. People used to be willing to wait for the weekend or for Monday to find out what happened, but now it's I need to know what's happening now in the game right now.
You see a lot of that transition in the young people that are coming into, that are playing the sports at all the institutions, especially in the PacWest. Their families, their parents could be 30s, could be maybe early 40s, but they grew up in a generation of the ESPN types, the instant media. So the demand is really there.
Yeah, I think there's a precedent set, and it's just kind of how the culture is now. That's how it should be done.
Here we're visiting with Brandon Davis, the Sports Information Director at Dominican University of California. He was named the SID of the Year in the PacWest, and you can check out his story on thepacwest.com. And I know, Brandon, one of the things that you guys do well, and I know that Dave Albee, who works in your office, does a good job with it as well, is you guys produce a lot of stories on student athletes. It's something that you see Dominican does very well. Is that something you consciously said, we really want to put that kind of information out? Because writing is somewhat of a lost art.
Yeah, definitely. Dave has done a great job. He was a baseball beat writer for a long time, and he's got a real strong sports background. He covered the 49ers and a lot of the teams in the Bay Area, and we're lucky to have him. Dave does a really good job of going out and finding those human interest stories and, finding out something that you wouldn't know just by seeing a kid on the court or on the field, and making sure that their stories get told. We've had a lot of kids, get attention from that, and it's nice, especially when a kid isn't necessarily an all-star, but they still deserve to have that special story about them told. And we've gotten some national coverage from that, which has been nice. And it's something we consciously do, both from an athletic standpoint and from the university. The university's got a big focus on engaged learning, and that's about what we do outside of the classroom. So I think there's a lot to be done on that side, and it's something that the university is really holds important, and something that we've found has been an effective tool to get the word out about our student athletes.
When you look at all the technology that you use and the PR that you want to produce, is there a danger that the message gets lost in the technology, that you still have to remember you want to tell that story?
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit.
If you go back and you look at all the technology that's being used, especially in athletics today, in athletic communications, especially at the college level, and is there a danger, or is there something that you have to guard against, where all the storytelling gets lost in the technology, that you still have to remember that it's the story that drives the interest?
Yeah, I think a little bit of the storytelling gets lost. On a Twitter account, you've got 140 characters, so you're really just getting the bare bones information out. You're saying so-and-so scored, how did they score? Doesn't necessarily get translated. Being able to describe a play or how something happened is something that people don't necessarily do. You only have so much attention to grab, and you need to do it as quickly as possible. So I think a lot of times the focus becomes on making sure people know what happened, not necessarily how it happened.
We're visiting with Brandon Davis of Dominican University, the SID of the Year in the Pacific West Conference, and does an outstanding job. I know, Brandon, one of the opportunities that Dominican had this year was to show off the campus and show off the athletic department, was hosting the Pacific West Conference Women's Tennis Championships, and was the first championship that you guys got to host. Talk about hosting it. How important was that for the institution to be able to host a conference championship?
I think it was huge for us. It was kind of odd timing hosting the tennis championships, in that our tennis courts were under construction. We've got a new facility this year coming online, the John F. Allen Athletics Complex, which has a new artificial turf field and the new 6 tennis courts. But we worked across the street. There's a great center, the Marin Tennis Club, that we worked with, and I think logistically being able to show that we could handle an event where all the conference teams come to, our campus basically, and we're able to host it and run an event smoothly. I think that was a huge step for us, not only as we moved to NCAA Division II and becoming a more involved member of the PacWest, but I think for the university and just as a whole, being able to show that there's an emphasis on athletics was a big deal for us. I
know that a lot of times people see the certain sports, the footballs, the basketballs, and some of the smaller, the minor sports that people say of hosting a championship. Well, it's not football, it's not basketball, but that's not really the case. When you host a championship, it's a championship, and there is a certain level of expectation, of pressure, of wanting to do a good job. When you started planning for it, how much planning went into doing something like this?
A ton of planning goes into it. Weekly meetings, if not daily, down the stretch. Our assistant director of athletics, Pat Huser, did a great job coordinating everything with the Marin Tennis Club, and it takes an army. We had a game ops staff of probably a dozen people. Whether or not that's their normal job, people got pulled into doing it. So, the AD, the assistant ADs, the trainers, everybody on staff, if there's a way to utilize, the tools that we have within the department, we're going to make sure that happens. And, it's obviously extra work, but it's rewarding at the end of the day.
Well, what was the biggest thing that you learned after the championship? Going through that whole process and when it was done and you looked back, was there something that stood out that you said, maybe I didn't know that, but I know it now for the next time, or I didn't expect that, or guess what? I thought that it would go in this direction, and it did. So I learned that I really kind of knew what I was in for.
Yeah, I think we were all nervous, and we were able to take a sigh of relief. I think it actually went smoother than any of us expected. I think it's always good to plan for the worst and hope for the best a little bit. And I think by planning for things that were going to happen or may not happen, up until the week before, it looked like it was going to rain, so we had a huge plan in place to utilize some covered or indoor courts, and obviously that would have been a nightmare for us trying to get everybody to a different location on short notice. But that plan was in place, and the weather held out, and it was sunny, and it was probably the best weather we could have asked for. And I think just knowing that we had that in place in our back pocket was something that made us relax a little bit, knowing that if we needed to do that, it was there.
And you guys did a tremendous job with the tennis championships. I know that there were kudos spread all around to the entire university about how well those championships, and the location was great. And you look at going into the 2012-13 competitive season here, and you have this new facility. Now, is your new facility up and running for the fall?
It is, yeah. We actually did a walkthrough on Monday to see how everything would look, and the Kennelly Field's all ready to go. It's a great-looking artificial turf field, and the 6 courts that I mentioned, those are all ready to go, and they've been having camps on them. Actually, the little kids have had the benefit of using it during the summer, but it's going to be fun. The first game's quickly approaching. August 30th for soccer. So,
if as you look on the facility, and you kind of know, in your years there serving as an SID, and I know, like in my history, we had baseball. Well, we didn't have a covered facility. We were out in the snow and in the bleachers doing stuff. How does having this facility help you do your job better? Or is there more accessibility for internet, video, higher tech equipment because you have coverage? Kind of describe all that from a behind-the-scenes view.
Basically, construction was an issue last year, but in the past, with the rain that we get during, especially lacrosse season, that field would get pretty muddy. So we'd have to play on turf fields off campus in the area, whether it be a local high school or another field that had a turf field. We would have to travel, bring all our equipment and all our workers. So we're rolling, a couple of vans deep, and being able to have it right here and have our own facility where we have our own equipment and our workers are right here is going to be night and day for us. Logistically, it cuts out a lot of the headache, and it makes us able to focus on the game day experience for our fans, for our players. Everyone involved. It's going to be a lot better because, when you're renting a facility, you don't necessarily have full access to it. You're able to use the field, and that's it. So now we'll have fans, we'll have some snack bar type deal for them, and, it's going to be something people want to come to, not something you can hopefully get to if you heard the game's been changed due to weather.
In this field of sports information, do you enjoy it? I mean, it sounds like you enjoy it. Do you look forward to going to the games, especially that you were, so in, your undergraduate career was at Dominican?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely enjoy, obviously, the winning aspect and, seeing the results of what our coaches and student athletes, the work that they put in, and being able to help them in whatever way I can or my staff can, being able to, further the university and get word out about Dominican. When I first went here, when we went back to Missouri for basketball championships, and people would say, "Oh, Dominican Republic," and, so we get that a lot. And I actually haven't heard that in quite a while. People actually, last night I was talking about the job, and people were like, "Oh, Dominican, I know where that is. I live in Berkeley." So, I think being able to grow the reputation of the university in Marin, obviously, since that's our backyard, but in the greater Bay Area has been something I look forward to and enjoy. You know, it's a challenge with we've got all these other schools. We've got Cal, we've got Stanford, we've got the baseball teams, you know, looking for playoff berths with the A's and the Giants. So, you know, football's starting up. So trying to find our niche, but making sure people do know who we are.
I read in your bio that you're an A's fan. Have you always been an Oakland A's fan?
What's that?
I said, have you always been an Oakland A's fan?
I have, yeah. I went as a kid. I think my parents took me when I was, you know, a few months old, and I was born in August, so I was probably there in September. And, yeah, I've been going ever since, and I try to get to as many games as I can. It's
I'm reading a book about that Connie Mack wrote about the Philadelphia A's and their history, and because obviously I grew up a Phillies fan and never really realized the success of the Oakland Athletics, Philadelphia Athletics back into the early 1900s, a number of World Series, and just never had the popularity in Philadelphia that the Phillies had. And in Oakland, I've been to the stadium, but I know that there's been talk of them. Are they going to get a new stadium, or I guess there's talk of them moving to San Jose at some point?
Yeah, there's talk about going to San Jose, but then there was a meeting with Mayor Kwan from Oakland the other day with Bud Selig, so we'll see. Hopefully, I'd like them to obviously stay in Oakland.
It's you know, it's great. Do you get a chance? You said do you get a chance as an SID to go to the games and just enjoy a baseball game without thinking you have to score it?
Yeah, I do not keep a scorebook when I go. I try and just enjoy it and take it in and see what's going on. I mean, obviously I do see from the game day operations side, you know, things that I might like to do, or, you know, something I don't like. So there's always that in the back of my mind, probably especially when I go to minor league games, because that's a little more comparable to our level and facilities and whatnot. But, I mean, I'm always working to some degree, whether it's conscious or subconscious. But, yeah, for the most part, I'm able to go and just enjoy.
It's well, Brandon, we appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on your honor. Well deserved, and we look forward to a great year with Dominican University, California.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Brandon Davis, the SID at Dominican University of California, joining us from the Bay Area, and congratulations goes out to him. Does an outstanding job as being named the Sports Information Director of the Year. And, Joe, I know you left the studio for a minute to find your electric fly swatter.
No luck.
No luck at all.
I'm heading to Walmart.
Don't forget to take your price match off the website.
Right.
To make sure you do that. So, hey, we appreciate everybody listening. Don't forget, www.thepacwest.com. That's thepacwest.com. Check us out. Sign up for all the news releases on that page, and it's going to be an outstanding season. We're just about 3 weeks away from the start of the 2012-2013 season, and in the coming weeks we'll have the soccer and volleyball preview days. So for Joe Carrero, I'm Tom D. Camillo. Thanks for listening to PacWest Radio on KQCK.
Hi, this is Daniel, your host for Rock and Roll 101, every other Sunday at 5 on KQCK.